Hello, my loves. Today I'm going to go into some messages that are going to be the most beneficial for you at this time. Super fast. I just want to let you know there is still space to join tomorrow's 11:11 Sacred Circle, the Golden River of Blessings. And for any of you who want to do the session that was available this past Saturday, that Golden River of Blessings was really a deep prep for the physical, into the physical, receiving the blessings. I'll put all of that in the pinned comments. And now we're going to dive into today's messages. So, I just want to start out by acknowledging that Mercury has officially gone retrograde. I've been getting some specific messages around this energy, and I wanted to share a bit of what's coming through around this being a very deeply healing opportunity for those of you that are open to experiencing it in those terms. It does feel like we've really been in this process of completing out a lot of the old patterns, a lot of the old karmic energies. And now there's opening this deeper space to receive the results of the work that we have been doing, and which makes sense why I was guided to do the Golden River of Blessings. And so, for those of you that may have been feeling that you are not quite seeing the physical world results that match the level of work that you have been doing, you may find this time from this point, especially over the next few weeks, to be a perfect time to open that up. With that, another message that was coming through is that you may find in this energy of going back and visiting past experiences where maybe in the past you were clearing out the trauma or the discomfort, you might find that you're opening up and feeling some nostalgia for the positive things that you experienced in your life in the past. I know that this journey can really bring us very deeply into the discomfort and the shadows, but it does feel like I've spoke about for the past few months that we're on that rise, that climb out of the shadows. Many or most of you know how to navigate that or are in the process of deepening that skill set. And so it does come to this point where there's more value working outside of just the shadows. And so we're ready as a collective to open up to the new blessings, but also simultaneously bring back the parts and the aspects of us from our past that did have nice experiences. And what I want to say with that is, say you had past relationships that maybe they weren't so hot, but maybe they had really good elements to them and some toxic elements. You may notice that you're opening back up to retrieving the parts of you that experienced the beautiful parts of those relationships. It's not necessarily about going back to those relationships, it's about retrieving those parts of yourself that got to have those experiences and now applying them to the version of who you are now, or letting them become a new, improved version, um, part of your life now in a new way. Maybe even with new people, maybe not. Okay, right out of the gate, I'm feeling guided to go to my native heart deck. Let's just see what messages want to come through that will be most beneficial for you. Interestingly, we have 11:11 tomorrow, and the divine masculine came forward. I am going to look at the messages in this book really quick. The balance of opposites swaying into equilibrium, a platonic relationship. You're currently standing in a world that is experiencing the rising and reawakening of the divine feminine. The divine feminine has risen to bring balance and to shift the polarities of the world where the pendulum has overswung towards the masculine and henceforth lost the essence of key sacred male energies. The divine masculine is a true representation of the solar energies that bring a warming life force. The divine masculine activates energy, fire, and higher aspects of intelligence, to bringing a lightning rod of illumination to a world seeking unity. This card is guiding you to bring symmetry to your world. It speaks of an equilibrium between the masculine and feminine. A feeling world would not exist without the illumination of the mental. One simply cannot be without the other. It's time to rebalance your mind, body, and spirit so you have the stronger, clearer foundation. The mandala also speaks of someone who is about to embark on a sacred rite of passage into manhood or fatherhood. It may also indicate someone who's journeying into a new stage of life as an elder. These are all phases to be honored, and this card indicates the importance of being with kindred brothers. Okay, so clearly I wanted to bring that through for everybody, but I'm also taking this as a signal that the divine masculine is wanting to come forward with some messages. And now I feel guided to go into the shaman dream deck and what's coming through, we would like to ask. I can feel the balancing and harmonization energies of the 1111, right? With the masculine and feminine balance. And then it's sort of tying into the most recent video I did around the feminine high heart activation in the opening of that camaraderie energy between the heart and the throat. I feel the masculines are wanting to share something connected with this deeper healing over the next few weeks with the Mercury retrograde. I do know there's some other planetary things going on as well, but also, and then the 1111 portal to the 1212, they just said. Okay, what do we got? They want me to shuffle it. It's like sometimes I'm guided to shuffle different, and that feels like significant to a timeline shift, which also piggies back to my most recent video. So the masculines are also acknowledging a timeline shift on their end. So let's see what wants to come through. Wow. Okay. Right out of the gate, we have the covenant, the sacred contract. Okay. I am going to, what do we need to know about? It feels to me right away, the divine masculine collective, the divine source is acknowledging the sacred contracts being ignited in a deeper way. So, back a few months ago, when this card came forward, I got the message that where this scroll wasn't fully open was where more information was living. I feel like that was back in like July or August. So, it feels like what is coming to me in this moment is that this has been opening for the feminine in the physical world. And now at this pivot point, at this 1111 pivot point, this next levels of the sacred contract is now opening for the divine masculine collective. Okay. What I want to open up and see what would like to come through for that. So it does feel like a significant timeline shift coming in. Many of you may already feel this in process, but it feels connected to tomorrow's 1111 energy. We always know that's an exceedingly powerful day. All the portal days are, but the 1111 is sort of the original. Even before everybody was talking about portal days or all of these spiritual concepts, 1111 was a pretty significant number for a very long time. So let's go into seeing. I feel guided to pull three of these cards. Okay. Wow. So the masculine is acknowledging that he has heard the call of the feminine. But the beautiful part that's coming through about this is it's not because the feminine is pushing or pulling or demanding in any sense. She's simply trusting and surrendering to her higher power, trusting whatever is meant for her. And this is actually being heard and felt by the masculine collective. It feels that the feminine has been really focused on herself, shoring up her own heart, getting her physical world ducks in a row, and embodying deeper into her strength and her internal union. So we're circling back to that balance of the masculine and feminine. What's coming to me is like so many people, I get a question a lot. Like we see so many feminines evolving, and so many of the masculines sort of seem to be in the same energies that they were previously in, and always like wondering, is it really ever going to shift? What I'm feeling within this is that something is deeply shifting. That feels like the energy that's coming forward. I'm also guided to share a message to start out by feminines that are here watching, looking at this as like the bigger collective energies first. Okay. If you're not witnessing this in your direct connection with the masculine right at this moment, look at it from the overarching, bigger collective energies and start witnessing the shifts from there. And another thing that you can work with is looking at your relationships to all of masculine energies in your life. It doesn't have to be just your divine masculine counterpart, but how are you interacting with your internal masculine energy, the other men in your life, family, friends, coworkers, neighbors, and what is your relationship to the masculine in general? And as I'm speaking this, I'm sensing that it feels important that you're letting yourself truly drop into and believing that the masculine collective is very capable of coming forward and matching the divine feminine collective. Okay. It feels that it's important that that trust, that belief, and that deeper knowing and confidence in the overarching masculine collective is present and available and stable in the energies. Now, if you find yourself wanting to get caught up in details or specific masculines, or you feel frustration around that, okay, go ahead and process that, but then come back to that centripetal point of holding it for the overarching collective. Because what I'm sensing right now as I'm saying this to you is that there's a lot coming up, there's a lot shifting, and a lot of potential transformation and process, and so it might not look pretty at the moment or to the level of what you might be wanting. But I also want you to remember what it was like for you when you were going through your transformation. And we all know that it wasn't super pretty, right? It was messy, it was uncomfortable, and it took time to get to this space of strength and embodiment. So, again, really giving space and grace for this process. Transformation and embodiment takes time. Okay. Since that came through for the feminines from the masculines, I want to also ask if the masculines would like to show anything about their process. As I'm saying that, these cards flip out. So you know that I have to take those. So we have the 10 of Wands, the Seven of Swords, and the Chariot. Give me a moment. I want to see what these energies are speaking to me. Okay, this feels to me where the masculine and feminine both went their separate ways, right? They both had their bags. They both went out into the night and went on this process of transformation. The chariot to me is like where things are syncing back up, right? This is like where the masculine and feminine went their separate ways. And this is where the two are coming back into harmonization. When I feel into the energies, wow, there's a lot of energy coming through. It's like, it does feel like the best way I can describe it is like as they both went off into their own separate experiences, gaining different types of knowledge, different types of lessons. And then it's like coming back together to share those energies and illumination. I don't know why I have to just share it. It's like this moon becomes this sky, and all of her wands become the lights within the carriage. And then it's like they sync up. It's where their illumination comes together from both. And since it was talking about the divine masculine energy being that illumination energy, that spark of the lightning, which I have to say came through in that first sacred circle energy. It was like the lightning, the golden energy from source coming in and really healing and sealing the core wounds within the physical body, like where the rips or the wounds had been, and repopulating those with the electrical essence and energy. So again, we all have masculine energies within us. Clearly, the masculine is needing some attention and focus to bring things into that deeper harmony, especially right now is what's coming through. So since we're so close to the 1111 portal, and some of you, depending where you are in the world, are already in the 1111, you may find it helpful to meditate on the masculine, divine masculine energy. It can be your own internal masculine energy, your counterpart masculine energy, or the divine masculine source energy. Think God, right? You have God and Goddess. Think of the divine masculine God energy from Creator. So whether you want to look at all of those or some of those, or whatever you're guided to do, you may find it helpful to meditate or just open up to what wants to come forward for you. And as I said that, I'm guided to pull a card specifically on the sacred contract. Okay, we have Hermit. So to me, that's really signifying that going into the meditation, calling in your higher self. And what I'm seeing is even pulling out some paper and a pen or something to write with, and either free writing what's coming through or doodling, drawing, writing symbols, words, whatever comes to you without censoring yourself. Even if when you're initially writing it, you don't understand it or it doesn't make sense, don't censor yourself, because your higher self and the energies are bringing forth a message that may make more sense in time. Um, right now, it's more about you just receiving the messages and the guidance. I know I spoke about doing this connected to the masculine energy, but of course, obviously open up to whatever feels aligned for you. I do feel that the masculine energy wants to come forward with messages for each of you specifically that resonate with this in your own way. So it's really about you being open and receptive to receiving without censoring and without restricting. Obviously, as long as you're asking that it's in alignment for you. Okay. But it does feel like something is wanting to come forward within this next 24 to 48 hours and then into the next few weeks of the Mercury retrograde. But if you are really looking for something to harness on your own, it sounds like the masculine collective is wanting to come forward with messages for those of you here. All right. And again, if you want to join in the sacred golden river of blessings, sacred circle, you're welcome to join that. That's tomorrow, 11:11 at 6 p.m. Eastern time. And I hope that you are all doing well. I'm going to leave this here. We'll see how tomorrow goes. If I have the space, I may pop on with some messages. I believe later today I will be going a bit deeper into some of these messages for my members on Patreon and YouTube. So I will post that in the post tab when that video is ready. All right, my loves, have a beautiful day. Sending you so much love. Focusing on that internal union energy as we head deeper into the 1111 portals and opening to receiving the blessings and the healing and the results of the work that we've been doing. Sending you so much love. Take care. Peace.